I'll give the chat a little bit of time to hop in. Of course, Left Turn Central here, joined by Ben Miller. Bull currently not here because he is a grown man with things to do, but he may be able to pop in here midstream. So be sure to stay tuned for Bull hopping in. We had a race that happened at Martinsville. Naturally,
Yep.
Chase decides to win the Martinsville after I was there. Shout out Chase Elliott. Shout out Alan Gustafson. Even though, like, listen,
Yep.
even Larry Mack made the point that that was not the intent of the pit stop that was made. But
Mhm.
um, you know, it is what
Yep.
it is. Whatever keeps his job for another 5 years, I suppose.
Mhm.
Let me get this tweet out, and then we'll get into the show here.
Yeah, that definitely was a hell of a call by Alan Gustafson. Didn't think it was going to age well there for a minute. I mean, Elliott, he was on old tires there for a little bit, and then eventually he got that caution, which saved that strategy. So that was definitely a good call by Alan Gustafson for sure.
I feel like Chase kind of made the call because Chase was the one complaining about his tires being like dead. So like I kind of find it as a Chase Elliott fan very frustrating that Alan Gustafson's getting all the credit for this, low key, because Chase Elliott was
Yep.
complaining about the car, like the car did not fire off well in the race. The reason they pit was because he said he couldn't drive anymore, and then Alan Gustafson gets all of the credit for what happened. So
Yeah.
I don't know, and people seem to quickly forget that Martinsville is literally Chase Elliott's best track, has been since he came into the Cup Series. But
Yeah.
no, it's okay. Let's just sign Alan Gustafson to a 5-year extension so I can just continue to be miserable. But
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, he had to take a risk. I mean, throughout, or I should say, before the strategy, I mean, Chase Elliott, he had like a 10th to 11th place car a majority of the race before that strategy, and he just had to take a risk. But it played out for him at the end, and ultimately getting his first win of the year. So, I mean, he's been off to a consistent start this year, and then it finally pays off. Finally pays off for him getting that first win of the year. So, yeah, this is a big win for Chase Elliott, and we'll just see what happens moving forward.
all right, well, it looks like we got everything going. Got a viewer out there. Welcome in. We're about to get this recap underway here. I just got to pull up this. The Discord is going insane right now. Good lord, I need to turn off that notification. It just keeps on ringing.
Yep.
The March Madness stuff going on right now, but
Looks like we got a Yukon win.
yep, Pierce that way. That's what they do in March. They keep winning. Well, let's go ahead. So, if you guys didn't know, Chase Elliott won the Martinsville race, and that's really all that happened. It was an interesting, not really that interesting race. Denny Hamlin won stage 1 and stage 2. Ty Gibbs finished second in stage 2 with Logano, Blaney, and Byron running out the top 5. You then had Byron, Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, and Austin Cindric making the top 5 in stage 1. Not a lot of passing. Really, again, who else but Ryan Blaney was the only car capable of passing under green flag conditions or without using the bumper. That car is the fastest car in the field. If Denny Hamlin didn't clear himself for like the third time in his career coming out of turn 4, Ryan Blaney probably wins this race. I don't know if you noticed, but he was the fastest car on the track going through lap traffic at the end of the race. So shout out Denny Hamlin for, once again, just kind of making his own mistakes someone else's problem, because that's what he's best at in this sport. But moving along, Denny Hamlin did finish second. He did have the fastest car all day long, 292 laps led. He was on his way back to getting the lead until Ty Dillon went down pit road. Then 10 to 15 laps later, NASCAR discovered that his brake rotor had fallen off and is in the track somewhere. So they had to pull out the yellow. And then that got us where everyone went down pit road and took 4 tires except for Ross Chastain, who then started to Denny Hamlin's inside. Denny Hamlin gets a bad restart, missed a shift, and ends up giving up the position to Chase Elliott. Just happened to be where the caution, when another caution comes out, because Bubba Wallace decided to, or sorry, he didn't decide. He missed the corner on Hocevar, taking out himself and Zane Smith, who was in the top 10, was going to get me points in the Fast Five. But no, Bubba had to go revert to his 5 years ago for self and decided to dump Carson Hocevar and be like, I always find it funny when I see that, because it's like, well, Hocevar does it all the time. Okay, so we're teaching Hocevar that what he does is bad by doing the same exact thing that Hocevar does. I'd love to hear Bull's take on that. I'll have to bring that back up when he hops in, because I know he probably has a different opinion as a Bubba Wallace fan. But yeah, regardless, Bubba Wallace, I'm just going to call it what it is, took out Hocevar and Zane Smith, did not misjudge that corner whatsoever. And then that caution took a little bit. Was there another caution after that or no? I don't think there was.
Yeah, I don't think there was either.
So then after that caution, Chase Elliott had the lead. Yeah, because that's how Chase Elliott ended up getting the win, was because he got out of the lead from Ross Chastain, was able to catch some. And then that's when Ryan Blaney, who gave Chase Elliott the push to take the lead, ends up getting to the outside of Denny Hamlin, is trying to make a move on Hamlin. And what does Hamlin do? But what he's done, again, 3 times before, once to Martin Truex and another time to, I believe, Joey Logano, just puts him in the wall, ruins Ryan Blaney's day. Blaney only gets a 6th place finish. Blaney, of course, has no backbone, so he didn't say anything to Hamlin about it. But, yeah, Hamlin just acted like that didn't happen either. So, yeah, if only it happened to a driver that would actually stand up to Hamlin, that would have been nice, so we could actually get some, conversations like we did with Carruth and Love yesterday. But, yeah, regardless, Chase Elliott takes the lead. Looks like Hamlin's going to run him down. Hamlin started feeling like he had a loose wheel or some issues in his rear tires. It probably caused by the fact that he hit Ryan, just cleared himself on Ryan Blaney. And then the kind of lap traffic started coming into play. Chase Elliott moved well through lap traffic, then didn't move well through lap traffic, and Hamlin was catching him. But then Hamlin started having trouble getting through lap traffic. It seemed like when Hamlin was on the inside and had somebody on the outside, like he did with Blaney, he just couldn't really get out of the corner like he wanted to, and that would allow Chase Elliott to move on. But Elliott did have some struggles. Regardless, Elliott held him off. Elliott gets the win, and now is the first Hendrick driver, motorsports driver, to get a win in the regular season of NASCAR, ending their longest winless streak to start a season in, I think, over a decade or so, if not further. So
I think 2019.
Oh, okay. Then not that far. I don't know why everyone was making a big deal out of it then. So, yeah. It was a real piece of debris. They got it on camera, Jenry. We all saw that. It was a real piece of debris. 2019. Yeah. I mean, that is almost a decade now. Holy crap, we're getting old. But
time's flying, man. Time's flying.
Yeah. But Ben, what did you think about this race? Jenry, I see you're in the chat, so let us know what you thought about this race. Because I thought it was a big ass snooze fest.
Yeah, I would say from start to finish, it was kind of somewhat of a boring race. I mean, we didn't see a whole lot of passes. I mean, going into the weekend, obviously, we knew the Toyotas were going to be strong, specifically Denny Hamlin. I mean, 6-time Martinsville winner. I mean, like you said, he dominated the race, leading over 290 laps. I mean, we definitely expected that from driver 11 today. But yeah, those Toyotas, they were definitely strong. I mean, Ty Gibbs continuing the momentum. Yeah, that was I would say that was definitely a boring race. I mean, strategy kind of played a factor into it. I mean, we saw guys start to flip the stage a little bit, try different strategies. I mean, ultimately it worked out for Chase Elliott as he made the decision to come to pit road to try to put himself in the best situation to win. I mean, he had a 10th place car throughout the day, 10th, 11th place car. And, he just had to flip the switch to put himself in the best position to get his first.
I don't know if this is just a Ben thing or a me thing, but he is frozen on my screen. So on Ben's screen, I might just be talking over him right now, but he is frozen. I'm assuming he's going to have to hit it with the back out and back in. Let me see what happens when I do this. All right. Yeah. Ben's connection is MIA right now. So we'll see if he jumps back in here, but that leaves it to be just me, myself, and I. Henry says it was a snooze fest till the end. Absolutely. This race was a snooze fest up until we got that caution from Ty Dillon's brake rotor or whatever the hell. Harvick and Boyer were arguing over what it's called. But regardless, we got a caution from that, and that ended up making things interesting, bringing the field back together. As I see, I have a stain. I don't think that's armpit sweat, but maybe it is. I've been working all day, so yeah, until that point, it was pretty much a snooze fest. That did bring in all the different strategies, people trying 2 tires, no tires. Well, nobody really tried 2 tires or no tires. Just Ross Chastain trying the no tires, actually. But it did bring the field back together, which allowed Chase Elliott to get the win. So shout out Ty Dillon for doing something that actually helped the Hendrick driver this time. But yeah, Chinry, I would love to hear your thoughts on a couple things in the chat there. I know I personally think, or you said it, I think already in the NASCAR group chat, but thoughts on the Bubba Wallace incident, just seeing red there. And more specifically, do you feel like Ryan Blaney should have said something to Denny? I feel like, how do you not? Like, you could have won that race. You were faster than Denny, faster than Chase, but you're running in 7th place because Denny Hamlin just completely cleared himself in turn 4. So I'm really curious about Chinry or anybody else that's watching the stream. What are your guys' thoughts on all of that? It's kind of becoming a theme with Denny Hamlin, as it kind of always has been, is he just makes mistakes, but instead of like honoring his, like, he made a mistake, he went too hard into turn 4. All he has to do is let off. But heaven forbid you make Denny Hamlin let off, like, for a mistake that he made. You're the one who ran the corner too hard. Why should Blaney, who was clearly on your outside, have to suffer for it? Like, I don't get that mindset at all, but that's just Denny Hamlin for you. We've seen that play out with his teammate, Bubba Wallace, already this year, once last year as well. Yeah. You can't act like Bubba's the only person that ever had that happen, but yeah, I just feel like you legitimize Carson Hocevar's acts when you do stuff like that. You're just, how are you supposed to tell Carson Hocevar not to race the way that he races after you race like that? And Bubba does have a history. You saw what he did to Larson back in the day, throwing the water at Bowman on pit road. So it is kind of a history with Bubba that he just kind of, yeah, I can't act like I don't have that happen to me from time to time, especially in NASCAR 25, where I just see red, but I'm also not a professional race car driver. So that is that. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these results, as Jeremy maybe is let me know about Blaney. But yeah, please let me know what y'all think if you're watching. I really am curious on some other opinions than my own on the Blaney thing, because I think it's kind of crazy that we didn't get to see an argument. But anywho, looking at these results here, if I can pull them up on my screen, there they are. Chase Elliott, of course, won. Denny Hamlin, 2nd place. Joey Logano, a really quiet 3rd place. Like, he was there, but I didn't realize he was there until I just saw him on the, results. Ty Gibbs, 4th place. I think he has a 4.5 average finish since I called him a lazy bum. So I'm going to just keep picking him. I was going to say, I didn't hear his interview, but like, why don't you say something to Hamlin? Why don't we reprimand Hamlin? Because he's had a really rough offseason? Because I get it. I don't know if I'd want to go up there and yell at the guy because of the offseason he had, but I also just feel like we're letting him get away with a lot there. I mean, that is simply just you don't have, it's Martinsville. You have a spotter who's in your ear. Your spotter can see the entire track. Blaney didn't appear on his outside. Blaney was on his outside for a lap and a half before that. And then I guess I'm just probably an asshole, but it's just like, it's just frustrating. It's just really frustrating because Blaney probably could have won that race. And I guess I should be happy because Chase won, but I also wanted the 30 points from Blaney winning. And Blaney has Blaney ever walked up to somebody like after a race and said something to them? No, I don't think so. Like he just kind of takes it. I mean, he lets his pit crew walk all over him every week. Speaking of Blaney, he finished in 6th place. William Byron 5th place. Christopher Bell with a 7th place finish. Austin Cindric, his 3rd Martinsville top 10 according to Fox. That's another great finish for the 2 car. Kyle Larson in 9th place. Quiet day from him. Josh Berry sneaking out that top 10. Should have picked him in the 2nd round instead of, well, no, I got Ty Gibbs, so I shouldn't have gone that way. Ryan Preece or Shane Van Gisbergen. We have to give our credit where credit's due to the 97, guys. We have to give our credit to the 97. Was running top 5, I feel like, a lot of the day. He finished there in stage 1. Finished 8th in stage 2. Went on the weird strategy that Elliott went on and just didn't come out on top of it like Elliott did, but still got a great 11th place finish. We'll look at the standings here in a minute. But yeah, it's we kind of did expect that with Martinsville being Marcus Ambrose is one of his favorite tracks on the schedule, not named a road course. So we did see that a well ran race from Van Gisbergen, words are hard, last season. So it wasn't a complete shocker, but credit to him. He came to a track that he was supposed to be good at, and he was good at it. He qualified 5th. He finished 11th. That's a great day, especially by Trackhouse standards at this point. Like, he is honestly low-key becoming the face of Trackhouse. That's a conversation that could be had. Henry says, respect to Denny, but he gets away with too much without punishment and then bitches about someone doing the same to him. That's my point. If somebody did that to Denny, holy shit, would there be a 20-minute segment about that Blaney put him in the wall on, action detrimental. But if Denny does it, it's okay. It's all good. It's just racing. He's not going to let off. He's not going to let off because he sent the corner too hard and he didn't, that's tough for Blaney, but oh well, that's just short track racing. That's just short track racing. Like, he's honestly low key Logano in that sense, like where it's a big deal if it happens to him, but the second it's hit the shoe's on the other foot, silence, chirp, 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 chirp. But anyways, enough hate on Denny because he has been through a lot. And I hate to be that way, but just having issues in your life doesn't necessarily take away some of the flaws there are in your Bowman's still goated for dumping Denny at Martinsville and calling him out for crashing guys before. You mean the hack Bowman? Yeah, sure, whatever. That's Bowman's my second favorite driver, so I can say that. Ryan Preece with a 12th place finish. Everyone was expecting him to be the wheel deal this weekend. He wasn't quite really that. He really finished it. Oh, Ben Miller is back from the depths of hell. Welcome back. I'll hop you in here in a second. I'm on a different tab. Ryan Preece finished in the 11th place in the first stage and 10th in this, 10th first stage, 11th in the second stage. So not really the performance as I get Ben Miller back in here. Not quite the performance we expected from Ryan Preece, but still you can't sit and complain about a 12th place finish. That's not bad, but it is the first race that RFK has not had a car in the top 10, which is still, it's great that you made it that far. But Ben, welcome back. We're just going through the results. Yeah, we got the results here. We've been looking through them, but go ahead and continue on your thoughts about the race.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier before my Wi-Fi decided to die on me, I mean, pretty boring race, but, like we saw this year, the Toyotas, they were going to be strong. I mean, specifically those JGR Toyotas, I mean, with Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs, I mean, like we talked about earlier, Denny Hamlin dominating the race, leading over 290 laps. And, Ty Gibbs is continuing the momentum with getting these solid finishes. I believe it's 5 top 5s in the last 6 races. So I feel like that's a sign that we're going to see more of in the future. And I feel like Ty Gibbs, he's going to get to victory lane sooner rather than later because that 54 car is on rails right now, and he is definitely bad fast. But yeah, overall, with the pit strategies and everything like that, I mean, with lap traffic, I mean, as a fan, that definitely kept me at the edge of my seat. But like I said, the beginning of the race, it was pretty boring. I mean, not a lot of passing, but as we get into lap traffic and a couple of these pit strategies, some guys are willing to roll the dice, like we saw with Chase Elliott today. I mean, he had a 10th to 11th place car, but he just had to roll the dice and try something different to try to get himself a win, and it paid off for him to get his first win at Martinsville, not his first win at Martinsville, first win of 2026 to get his first win of the year. So yeah, I mean, overall, just what a good race, or good ending, I should say.
Yeah, good ending. I can't argue with that. I can't complain about the finish, of course, but all in all, it does beg the horsepower doesn't fix everything question, right? Like,
yeah,
that was supposed to fix everything. We knew 750 wasn't quite the amount needed, especially at Martinsville. I think you're going to need 900 to 1,000. Okay, we're not kidding, 1,000. Let's just be honest. I don't think NASCAR CEOs know that each horsepower goes into quadruple digits, but quadruple digits, was it? Yeah, that is what it's called. Anyways, 4 figures. Regardless, my point here is that I think we need more horsepower to really see a drastic effect. And the other thing that I will note is that I feel like Martinsville's always been hard to pass. Spencer says Chenry is fired up today. And yeah, Chenry, I'll address that question in a moment, but I feel like it's always been hard to pass, and it's always been you have to bump them to get the pass. And I don't, and there's this weird dynamic of where people are like, when we get to the last 50 laps of the race, a lot more willing to make the bump to hit that pass. But for the first 450 or today, 350 laps, they're not nearly as willing to make those plays because it's taboo to bump somebody out of the way. That's why people, I mean, or either that or you have to have a superior car like Ryan Blaney and be able to just pass on the outside. So circling to Chenry's question here, is it time to be concerned for Brior, which he corrects as Briscoe? And I don't think so. I don't think Martinsville is the track to wave the flag at. We saw him, but I will admit he's fallen into that Alex Bowman fourth driver type days where he's just on an entirely different subplot than his teammates. Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, top 10 all day. Chase Briscoe was not in the top 10 all day. He ended up
14th.
14th place. I mean, to be fair, Tyler Reddick finished 15th and he has 4 wins this year. So again, I'm not going to say we need to start panicking about Chase Briscoe, but I will say there is the days he's had to start this year remind me a lot of the days Bowman has when he was in his groove. But he just he would more so luck into top 10s as opposed to have a top 10 speed from week in and week out. And we obviously know Ty Gibbs is going to have more favoritism at that team than Chase Briscoe is. So, I mean, Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell have seniority. Ty Gibbs has his, family tree and seniority. So, Briscoe is probably getting the 4th best equipment week in and week out, even last year, and he was doing just fine. Also, James Small, we kind of just all forgot James Small can be a sketchy crew chief at times, so he just maybe hasn't quite hit his stride yet this year. I remember there was a lot of concerns at the end of Truex's tenure about James Small. But again, we're 6 races in, or we had 7 already?
7.
7 now. We're at 7 races into the season. So Chase Briscoe started off last season slow. Chase Elliott starts off every season slow, so I don't even know what to think right now with the win this early. But I wouldn't say it's time to hang it up. But you do know he hits the 4th best car every week.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I'm not really concerned for Chase Briscoe at all. I mean, from the beginning of the year, since the Daytona 500, that 19 group, they show up with the speed. They just been running into a lot of bad luck. I mean, like I said, they're showing up with the speed, but they're just not really getting the results. I mean, he should have had a top 5 last week in Darlington, but he ultimately got into the wall with Riley Herbst there coming to the white flag and ultimately ruined his day. But But yeah, I mean, yeah, he had a sluggish start last year in his first year with Joe Gibbs Racing, and then eventually in the summertime he turned it around, winning at Pocono, and then going into the playoffs, he was ultimately a championship threat. But yeah, I think it's too early to panic now that we're 7 races in. It's way too early to panic for Chase Briscoe because eventually him and James Small in that 19 group, they're eventually going to turn it around, and they're going to be in victory lane, and they're going to put together solid top 5, top 10 finishes, and they're going to get back into the conversation of winning and being a championship threat. So overall, I'm not really concerned for Chase Briscoe because they're eventually going to get it right.
Spencer, why? We've gone all this
6,
time
7.
without 6-7 on the. And then you said you left the door open. I don't even know what that means, Spencer. Sounds like you're ready for 3-2-1 Tuesday. Briscoe only has to be put up with 4th until Denny retires. If that's the case, he's got about 2 years before that happens. But looking back at these results, just breezing through some stuff here. I mentioned we were at Chase Briscoe in 14th, Tyler Reddick 15th, Ross Chastain in 16th, Carson Hocevar 17th, despite getting dive bombed by Bubba Wallace. He's the only one that survived that crash, of course. McDowell, his teammate, in 18th. Chris Buescher, really quiet day, in 19th. Daniel Suarez, 20th place. I mean, hey, I think top 20 is a good day for Daniel Suarez. So just maintaining his pace. Eric Jones is around the top 20 all day. Justin Allgaier, I guess it's a pretty good finish considering the standard that's been set in the 48 this year. Todd Gilliland in 23rd. That's actually a really bad finish for Todd Gilliland. He had a really good average finish at this track. That goes down a bit today. Kyle Busch in 24th, Austin Dillon 25th, Connor Zillage 26th, AJ Allmendinger 27th, Noah Gragson 28th. You got John Hunter Nemechek, Ricky Stenhouse rounding out your top 30. And Ty Dillon in last place with that brake issue. So that's really the results. Nothing too crazy out there. But looking at the standings now, Tyler Reddick has a good 82-point lead on Ryan Blaney. That is obviously down from what it was last week, but still very comfortable there. Denny Hamlin slots into the 3rd position in the point standings. Got a lot of stage points. That's huge. I think Blaney currently has the most stage points in the Cup Series. Took that title from Bubba Wallace, who, oh Lord, did Bubba Wallace fall down the point standings. We'll get there in a second. I mentioned Hamlin in 3rd, Chase Elliott in 4th place after his win, jumping up. He kind of had a pretty good gap to those leaders, and then this kind of puts him into the category with Hamlin and Blaney. Obviously, they have wins, so that just kind of puts him at the table with those guys. Byron rounds out your top 5 with 238, but the biggest mover, Ty Gibbs, slotting into that 6th spot in the point standings. He's about 10 points back, or sorry, I'm looking at William Byron, but he still is about 15 points back of William Byron. So he's got a ways if he wants to make any further progress, but we have a really close knit battle here between 6th to 11th in the point standings right now. Ty Gibbs in 6th. He's got 222. Christopher Bell is 10 spots back, or 10 points back in 7th place with 212. And then you have Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, and Bubba Wallace down in 11th place in the points. He was 3rd in the points last week. Rough day at Martinsville brings him all the way down to 11th. An ugly portion of the NASCAR fans are just celebrating right now, and it's sad. But he could be as high as 8th by the next week, or he could be even higher depending on how his week goes. But he is currently tied with Brad, Kyle, and Chris Buescher for 8th place in the points, all at 206. And then there's a pretty solid gap to Joey Logano in 12th place. And then Ryan Preece sitting pretty in 13th with 108. And then Shane Van Gisbergen jumps up after a really good day, getting some stage points to 14th. And then Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez round out your current chase field. Daniel Suarez having about a 10-point lead over his teammate Michael McDowell. All the Spire cars, all 3 of them, are sitting right there on that cut line. Then as you go down the cut line, Austin Cindric jumps up a good – this says 12. I don't think it was 12, but he definitely jumped up quite a few spots today. He's
showing
up
flashes.
to 18th. He's up to 18th, down just about 20 points from the cut line. And then you have Ross Chastain and AJ Allmendinger rounding out your top 20. Chenry was mentioning worrying about Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe is now up to 21st place in the point standings with perfect means to jump up as high as 19th by next week, or even 18th if Cindric has a bad day, and can get into the top 16. So he just needs to get him some stage points, get him a good finish, and he's doing just fine. Zane Smith slips a little bit after Bubba Wallace did what Bubba Wallace did. Eric Jones continues to climb the point standings up to 23rd now. Kyle Busch continues to fall in 24th. Josh Berry, big riser this week, to 25th in the point standings. Those stage points helped him a lot. And then he jumps up ahead of John Hunter Nemechek and Austin Dillon. Todd Gillen did have a decent day, but going up to 28th. But yeah, we're starting to settle in, especially we're settling in when you see Riley Herbst falling down to 30th place. Connor Zilic was able to jump ahead of Cole Custer. Woo, good job. Still a rough start from that 88 team. We'll see if they're able to turn a corner here. We'll be getting to a road course. Not anytime soon. So we'll have a couple. You have to wait till the summer stretch to maybe hit his stride. But looking at this point standings, what do you see? Who are some people that surprised you with their moves up the point standings where they're at, and maybe some people that have some work to do?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the top here, I'm going to talk about Ty Gibbs. I mean, like I talked about earlier, I mean, solid performance today at Martinsville. I mean, he's continuing the momentum, getting his 5th top 5 in the last 6 races. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really expect this going into the season. I mean, early in the season, I should say. But like I said earlier, I feel like he's going to continue to climb in the points. He's put himself in a great spot, especially 7 races into the season, and eventually he's going to continue to put together these solid runs. And like I mentioned earlier, that first win, I think it's going to come sooner rather than later. And, we go to Bristol in 2 weeks. And, last fall, Bristol was a great track for Ty Gibbs. I mean, he led over 200 laps, was on his way to the win, but eventually I think he ran into a misfortune on pit road. But yeah, things are looking really good for that 54 group right now. So that's really good to see him running 7 races in to this 2026 season. And I want to talk about Bubba Wallace for a little bit. So obviously, tough weekend overall for Bubba Wallace. I was just looking at his start to this 2026 season. I mean, he started out the year with 5 top 5 finishes. I mean, he was dominating, leading laps, putting himself in contention to win races. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But, I felt like after a rough race last week in Darlington that going into Martinsville, this is a track where he absolutely likes. And, he's shown a lot of potential at the paperclip. I mean, the last 2 spring races have gone his way. I mean, putting together 2 top 5 finishes. And, but I just had this feeling going into this weekend that this is going to be the perfect race for him to build off of that early season momentum and try to carry that into victory lane. And, he just didn't have the car the whole race. I mean, he was running outside the top 10 majority of the race. I mean, he had like a 11th to 15th place car. And, definitely didn't exceed my expectations. I mean, obviously I picked him to win. But, he had a fast car on Saturday, like fastest in practice, and that didn't even show up in the race. So, yeah, that was definitely disappointing there for sure. But, those are 2 that really stand out to me right now.
Welcome in, Bull. Coming in better late than never, as they say. We were talking about the point standings, some risers and some fallers. I want to hear your thoughts on the race. I want to hear your thoughts on Bubba Wallace's. We may have a disagreement there, and his little incident in turns 3 and 4. And I'd like to hear. I need to hear what Blaney said. Apparently, Blaney had an interview with Bob Pockris where he voiced his frustrations. Wish he would go, to the man's face and say that, but I don't want to. That might be scary for Blaney. He's never been too much of a face-to-face guy. So, but Bull, let's hear it. We've been talking enough.
So first off, I thought it was a pretty shit race, to be honest. Just to put it plain and simple.
Sentiment.
And then we should have known that Hamlin was going to get screwed when Elliott was running inside the top 10 and Ben drafted him, and I had Hamlin. So I should have known something was going to happen. Lead 294 the first 300 laps and then can't pass the leader. That's the big takeaway that I have from the race. Hamlin leads 294 laps of the first 300, gets passed in pit cycle, and then cannot pass Elliott again.
Yep.
He didn't get passed in the pit cycle. He got past. He did. Yes and no. Like he had the lead, missed the shift on the restart, and that's how Elliott. Then that caution came out, and Elliott had position on him.
Well, Elliott also had the jump there on the. Elliott had the lead on that restart too.
Yeah, I'm saying what happened was Chastain stayed out, and so Hamlin's on the outside, but then Hamlin missed his shift on the outside, which backed him up and allowed Ross Chastain to get the lead, but it also allowed Chase Elliott to get side to side. So when Bubba kamikazed into turn 3 and 4, missed turn 3 and 4, and then
all he did was miss 3 and 4. He misjudged it, Colton.
Good. I'm glad you're aware that he missed turn 3 and 4 just as much as I am.
He just misjudged it.
Oh, I've misjudged many a turns on NASCAR 25 after Phil blocked my ass.
I will say, I wonder what I've looked and I didn't see it. If there's any video that leads up to the misjudging of 3 and 4.
Allegedly, the Fox booth looked back at it and didn't see anything. Of course, the Fox booth also says that Ross Chastain is leading Austin Cindric in the point standings right now. So
I did see that.
I'm not really sure. Also added, but what I don't get about it is that the point standings aren't even updated because it says that Cindric's 61 points behind the leader when whoever's in second, Hamlin, is like 90 or 80 points behind, or Blaney, is like 80 points behind the leader. So I don't even know what the stats guy was doing on there. I've done that position. I do that like for a job.
It looks like standings. It looks like standings are updated. They've got Bubba down in 11th now.
Yeah. No, it was on Fox. Fox in their post-race show posted one where they just didn't update. So like Noah Gregson's 4th in the point standings, Kyle Larson's 5th, Keselowski's 6th, Suarez 7th. They just didn't update it. So shout out the stats guy. Chenry's yapping in the comment section. You missed Spencer. I don't know if Spencer's still here, but he said 6-7. And that somebody left the door open. I don't know who. It sounds like he's ready for a 3-2-1 Tuesday on Tuesday to me.
Is Spencer back to the beer?
I don't know. He sent me a picture with of a handle of Tito's, so I'm assuming that's what he's on right now. So the answer is probably no. Henry said he heard Helen Keller is the NASCAR on Fox guy. Shout out Helen Keller if she's real or not. But also, Caleb has a crazy idea. It won't happen if Bowman is out for the year. Let's hope not. Hendrick should buy out KFB, gives them a chance at someone to fight for a chase spot, and ends the shredded KFB RCR team. Yeah, probably wouldn't happen, but honestly makes sense.
Boy, KFB sucks right now. RCR.
RCR just sucks. Like, I saw somebody made a tweet saying like RCR, when they figure out that ECR engine they made back in 2022 doesn't work anymore.
I really hope KFB gets it figured out. NASCAR is better when KFB is rowdy and winning, and NASCAR is so much better than.
We may not get that again.
I don't like the new softer, gentler Kyle Busch.
No, I don't either.
But it's also just like he said, he can't be like that if he's not winning.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly. But speaking of RCR, I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, but 7 races in, RCR's never gone 7 races into a season without a single top 10.
And here we are.
Yeah. I mean, 7 races in, 0 top 10s between Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon. I mean, they got RCR, they need to get it together. I mean, this has gone on too far. They're destroying Kyle Busch's career. He just can't adjust to this RCR deal. And if he's back at RCR next year, that is mind-boggling. There's no way in hell KFB is going back to RCR in 2027. I mean, he just needs to get out. I mean, they're just giving him garbage every single week. And yeah, Kyle Busch, it just sucks to see him go down this path. And, you know, the sport is better when KFB is winning. And yeah, it just sucks that we don't see that anymore. So
I'm watching the onboard of Bubba right now.
Yeah.
77. I mean, Bubba runs high, 77 takes the window. I mean, you expect that. Oh, yeah, dude, he just sent that thing in there.
Yeah.
And then just keeps going.
He misjudged it. He drove it in a little hard.
Yeah.
What he said in his interview, yeah. Saying that he misjudged
That's what you say to not get the fine.
Yeah, that's a good point there too. But I think he was just frustrated because he, like I said earlier, he had a fast car in practice and that didn't even translate in the race. And he just had like a 11th to 15th place car. He just couldn't really get up and fight in the top 10 at least. So it was just based on frustration. So, and he knows that Martinsville is a great track for him. And he was confident going into the week. And, you know, it just didn't really work out for him. So I think with that, at the end of the race, with that deal with Hocevar causing that big pileup in turn 4, that was just based on frustration, I think.
Chinry says McDowell and Suarez getting the boot for KFB no matter how they perform this year. The marking from KFB marketing, I'm assuming he's saying. I speak Chinese. Would be something Spire can't pass on. I guess. Probably. I don't know. But I don't see who you're going to kick out because, like, right now, I said they're all sitting. Hocevar and Suarez are in the playoffs, and then, Chase, and then you have McDowell's right there in 17. So it's like they're all running really well right now. I wouldn't. Why would you risk it? I guess marketing, according to Chinry. Just open up a 4th one. They can't do that anymore. That sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
But is there anything else you want to bring up, Bull, that you saw from the weekend? What were your thoughts on Hamlin doing that thing he does in turn 4 at Martinsville and just ruining Blaney's day? Like, you say Hamlin got screwed. Blaney probably gets past Hamlin and probably passes Elliott for the lead because that is the one car in the field that is capable of passing anybody.
So I agree with you on the Bubba situation. Mm-hmm. I think the Hamlin situation's a little different with how hard it was to pass in that late in the race. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that. But it's just like when John Hunter Nemechek, I'll use that example from earlier in the race. That's how Byron ended up getting past him.
Yeah.
With John Hunter Nemechek. It's hard to, when you're moving in lap traffic, it's hard to get around. Hard to pass.
That wasn't the case.
But I was just saying, like, he's seen how hard it was to try to pass. So the more people you can keep behind you later in the race.
Yeah. I personally, the way I see it, Hamlin made a mistake in turn 4, was not able to, or his car simply is not able to handle there being a car on his outside coming out of turn 4 because he about did it to Jones, or I think it was Jones, as well. And so instead of like giving Blaney a fair shot, he just stayed in the throttle and ran Blaney into the wall. Yep. I just don't think that's a very fair way of driving. I know Hamlin's been through a lot, so we don't want to be too mean to him, but I just think it's something I would say if it was on the other foot. If Blaney did that to Hamlin, if obviously if Logano did that to anybody, but if Chase did it, I wouldn't sit here and try to defend it. I probably would be, a little less adamant about it because Hamlin's done this 3 times at Martinsville, once to Martin Truex Jr., I believe the other time to Joey Logano.
Yep.
So,
2019.
and it's something.
But Joey probably deserved it. It's Joey.
Well, it's Joey. Like I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't. If it was to Joey, I wouldn't be complaining. But I also, Ryan Blaney was on my team. Was kind of hoping for at least a second place. But it is what it is. 6th place is fine. I did still get the most points of the weekend. So, anyways,
how about that? How about a future Hall of Fame driver getting you 10 bonus points?
Listen. Shut up. I love that a win at Martinsville is enough to make Justin Allgaier like a for sure Hall of Famer now, right? And then for Alan Gustafson, the right crew chief. Like, Chase Elliott won at his best track after a caution came out at a convenient time after you gave him a shit car for the first half of the race. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Let's interview him on pit road. Let's give Alan Gustafson all the credit in the world. Like. I literally Chase Elliott just couldn't drive the car anymore. That's why they went down pit road, not because Alan Gustafson was trying to get position.
Yeah, I think he said the right rear tire was gone.
Yeah.
He did say that.
But no, let's just sign Alan Gustafson another 5-year extension. He's the Zach Taylor of NASCAR. But here we are. At least I guess he doesn't have a championship, Zach Taylor. Maybe he gets one this year. Anyways. We have gone way down the rabbit hole here, so let's keep her in check. Bull, do you have any more comments on the race, though? I know you haven't necessarily had a chance to get them all
out. No, I think you pretty much covered it. I was kind of watching in the background as I was finishing up dinner.
Gotcha. Dad, you shouldn't even been watching it in the background. You didn't miss much, but hey, Chase Elliott won, so you should have been watching. It was a great race.
I saw Ben's internet showing flashes.
What'd you say? I
saw Ben's internet showing flashes.
Oh yeah,
For the second, the second week in a row, the Wi-Fi hates me for some odd reason. So I don't know what's going on in my house, but we got it fixed now. So hopefully it stays this way the rest of the show.
Yeah, but Ben Miller's internet has shown the most flashes this season. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it definitely has. But
I don't know. Him and Herbst are both up there.
Side by side.
But, speaking of flashes, I forgot to mention this guy, Austin Cindric. I mean, overall, he had a fast race car. I mean, he showed it in practice. He showed it in qualifying. And, he was running up in the top 5, majority of the race. I mean, this is the thing that I wanted to see out of Austin Cindric going into this 2026 season. I mean, he's shown potential. I mean, he had a fast car at Phoenix. He had a top 10 car, but ultimately he got crashed out, but unfortunately didn't get the result. But, and even showed potential at Darlington. I mean, he had a solid top 5, top 10 car and ultimately finishing in 5th. And, he's continuing the momentum, fellas. I mean, that 2 car, he was definitely strong today. He ran as high as 3rd. He ran in the top 5 majority of the race, but he ultimately finishing in 8th. So overall, solid result. And overall, I just like the speed out of that 2 car right now because, going into this year, this is going to be a pressure. Well, I should say Cindric, he had some pressure on him going into this year. I mean, he's in a contract year with Team Penske. People were saying, well, I don't know this for a fact, but people were probably saying that, he's probably not going to be back in that 2 car next year. But
Ben, you know that as a fact. That we were saying it on the show week in and week out throughout the off season. So yeah, you do know that.
Yeah. I don't know where my brain's at, but yeah, I mean, overall, he's showing that he can perform at these intermediate tracks, these short tracks. There's potential for Cindric. I mean, he's a great race car driver. He has the ability to improve and learn at these intermediate and short ovals. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it going because Cindric, he's rocking and rolling right now.
It's not a slide job podcast episode if Ben doesn't get to talk about Cindric.
I will admit, as much shit as I have piled on Austin Cindric for the past 3 years, I always was confused as Chinnery drops his flashes. Is not another staple of the chat has become Chinnery dropping his flashes comment. I always wondered like what happened, and I just kind of chalked it up to a guy that showed his. He didn't show flashes. He was dominant. He wasn't dominant. He was great. He was really good in the Xfinity series. That's what it was called at the time. So I will not be calling it what it wasn't. And then just didn't quite have like a Noah Gragson. Just didn't quite have it at the Cup Series level. I will say running top, I think there's still a much higher expectation when you have champions as your teammates, but also I'm not saying that his expectations should be a championship. It should be top 16 right now. Get in that top 16, get in the chase, and make a run. Let's see where you can finish. So I'm not trying to like flip and act like I never said anything bad on Cindric because I've given him nothing but shit for the past 2 years. But I will give credit where credit is due. I do think he is, in fact, showing flashes so far this year.
Speaking of giving credit where credit's due, how about we talk about the lazy bum for a second?
Since I already talked about him. Already talked about him. We don't have to talk about him again.
Another fourth place finish.
Is it fourth, fifth, fourth now?
Fourth, fifth, sixth, fourth.
Wow. We're top fives in the last 5 races.
Joe Gibbs better be sending you a check.
That's what I'm saying, dog. Like, I woke this brother up. I didn't do shit, but I mean, it's funny how I am getting so used to saying something on this podcast and the opposite happening that I picked Justin Allgaier to win the Xfinity Series race. And guess what? It happened. I make that as a segue to the Xfinity Series race where Justin Allgaier was able to get the win, led the most laps with 114. Corey Day found his way into second place. I don't think he dumped anybody this week, so shout out Corey Day.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row.
Yep, 2 weeks in a row. He hasn't dumped anybody.
Attaboy. Sammy Smith found his way into third place. Your pick for the win, Bull. Didn't quite have the he had the speed, I would say, to compete, but you had to have track position. That was the name of the game this weekend. Didn't quite have that. Sheldon Creed also has been really good at Martinsville in his career. Finished fourth place there. Great finish for him. Lee Pulliam. Is that how you say it? Lee Pulliam?
Yeah, Lee Pulliam.
Finishes fifth. Had a chance at the win. Was on a different strategy like Chase Elliott, but didn't have the benefit of being able to go down pit road and get fresh tires on that. He had to stay out to get that. Just wasn't able to get the job done quite frankly. I wonder if that one caution didn't come out, if he would have been able to hold that lead with Allgaier chase him down. Probably not, but he is a very talented driver.
I think he would have won if it wasn't for that caution.
I think he would have won if he knew how to restart a damn Xfinity car. I mean, was it 3 restarts that he missed that?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
I only saw the one where, when I was going back and watching highlights, I only saw the one where he caused that big pileup on the restart.
Well, that's what highlights are for. They're not going to show every restart.
Yeah.
Then you have Austin Hill in 6th place, and then Dean Thompson in 7th. Ross Chastain in the 91. I genuinely don't know how he ended up in 8th. He wasn't. I watched a good portion of the race, and I didn't see him anywhere around the top 10. Found his way there. I guess to pile up.
Yeah, he literally was able to just miss that pile up and pass like 12 cars.
Yeah.
He was driving a tractor on Saturday.
Chinnery, you already know when Bowman's back, I'm just going to call him the bummiest driver I've ever seen in my life. We're just going to shit on him until he starts winning again. That's the thing. If you guys want if you want your driver to do well, just let me know. I'll just start talking shit about him. That's all it takes. Anyways.
So we're picking Bubba to win at Bristol.
You don't want me to pick Bubba. See, Ben picked Bubba, and then he made Bubba an agent of the shoe because that wreck took out Hocevar, who was around the top 10. Zane Smith out of the race, who was around the top 10. That was my driver and your driver. So that was like a 20-point swing in Ben's favor. just by Bubba Wallace going, missing the corner.
He misjudged.
The misjudgment of the century.
Oh,
right there.
man. He was
Ryan
just pissed
Sieg
off.
sneaks out a 9th place finish. Brent Cruz rounding out your top 10. He had been out a couple races. He's getting to where he'll be old enough, I think, by the time we return, no?
He does not have to miss any more races.
Okay, good.
He is, 18 now.
Going to be a fun little storyline to follow, seeing him try to work his way up through the point standings. Parker Retzlaff, 11th place out of nowhere. Thank you to the pileup, I'm sure. And then Jesse Love, Taylor Gray, disappointing day for him. Got caught up in some wrecks and whatnot. Brennan Poole, another impressive top 15 for him. And then that is really the notable field for the Xfinity. Now, O'Reilly Series race. What you guys watch this race? You got anything you want to say about it?
So I unfortunately didn't get to watch the race. I was working, so I just went back and watched highlights. But overall, I mean, what a season so far for Justin Allgaier. 3 wins in the first 7 races. I mean, now that this chase format is back, fellas, I mean, it's no surprise that he was going to start out the year with the bang. I mean, 40 years old, he's still in his prime. He's continuing to win races, continuing to dominate the O'Reilly Series field. And, I mean, week in and week out, this guy is here to win. And, I mean, overall, just what a start by Justin Allgaier in this 2026 season. But I do want to give a shout-out to Corey Day. I mean, 2nd place finish, like you mentioned, Colton, but, he led 37 laps, and I feel like in a way he put together his best O'Reilly Series race. I mean, he's shown potential at the beginning of the year. That's now 5 consecutive top 10s, or six consecutive top 10s, I should say. But, I know he's got into it with guys. I mean, he wrecked the Sieg brothers, both the Sieg brothers at Atlanta. He wrecked Connor Zillage at Circuit of the Americas, and Rick Hendrick had to sit him down saying, hey, we can't be doing that on the racetrack. But, he's definitely showing a lot of growth. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, he hasn't gotten into anybody. He's still continuing to learn and grow, and the results are showing. So I feel like eventually he's going to be in victory lane soon, and definitely wouldn't be surprising. But yeah, I mean, Corey Day, he's definitely been fun to watch so far in this 2026 season.
Guy we just mentioned, Brent Cruz, top 10. I think this was his 3rd race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3rd race.
Qualified 4th and hung around there for a little bit. Once he gets more experience in that car, he's going to be one to watch out for. We won't see him hanging around the O'Reilly Series very long.
No.
He very talented.
Is that the 11 replacement?
It would not be surprising. I mean, Brent Cruz, he is a talented race car driver. I think this year he's going to be the best driver out of all 4 of them. He's going to be the best one at Joe Gibbs Racing. Now that he's going to be, he's not going to be missing any more races in the O'Reilly Series.
Yeah, I just can't wait to watch him grow, mature more. He's already got good racecraft. He's fun to watch, and as being as young as he is, he's going to be around the sport for a while. So, be one to watch. Ended up finishing 10th. So a little disappointed after his qualifying effort, but be interested to see how he would have done if he had more races in that car.
Yeah, did he get caught up in that pileup when Pullman missed that shift? I thought I saw that in the highlights.
I think half the field was caught up in that.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly who all, but there was definitely a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 45-minute red flag.
Good Lord, that was so long.
Mm-hmm.
However, looking through these not results but standings, Justin Allgaier continues to build upon his lead with a now 92-point lead on Jesse Love, who's 2nd in the point standings. Love's going to have to get some wins, I think, to catch up, which in theory he should. Sheldon Creed is in 3rd with a 116-point gap to the lead, so a pretty good gap to Jesse Love as well. And then Austin Hill is in 4th place. Carson Quaffle rounds out your top 5. And then Sammy Smith, Corey Day making up 6th and 7th. 8th to Brandon Jones, the highest Toyota right now, I might add. Brandon Jones, the best Toyota in the garage right now.
Yep.
Toyota did this to themselves, if you ask me, but we'll go down that road another day. I mean, let's be honest, Brent Cruz is the best driver at Toyota right now, but regardless.
Going over the standings, it's very interesting to look. If you look at down there in 21st, you got Brent Cruz with only 3 starts, and everybody like all the way down to 29th has 7 starts. So he's above guys who have 4 more races than he is.
Mm-hmm. Just speaks to the depth of the Xfinity series, or other series, if you ask me. Parker Retzlaff, 9th place. That's getting an 11th place finish in the race like he did. Continues to help build his resume. He's got a good 20-point gap to Raja Karuth there in 10th, who we can talk about that right now because he rounds out your top 10. Got in a little bit of a argument. Him and Jesse Love handled it very well. Jesse Love's crew chief
Danny Stockman.
Did not handle it very well. Handled it like a child on Call of Duty.
Yep.
However, I never saw the incident. Apparently, Raja was in the wrong. Raja agreed he was in the wrong and admitted that. But when your 20-year-old driver says, "Let us talk about it," I feel like there should be something to be said about how he views you.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes back to a couple weeks ago when we talked about the fighting and handling issues, and we talked about Jesse Love handled it. The comments he made handled it the best. He's 21, 22-year-old.
He might be 21 now. Yeah.
21, yeah.
And he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got the right mindset. Let the drivers handle it. Let them talk it out. Just let them be. Especially if he says, "Hey, let me handle it." What are you doing?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one. Stockton is the one acting like a 21-year-old after a bender on Call of Duty all night.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you see Caruth, out of the car. Stockman's in his ear, yapping at him, saying something about like we're in 6th, you're fighting for 6th or something like that. Yeah. Caruth is gonna fight for 6th. We're on the end of the race. It was an end of race restart. So did you guys happen to see what the footage was? Because I didn't see that. Like what the actual incident was that he was
I believe I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Raja Karuth, he dive bombed it into turn 3 and then washed Jesse Love right up the racetrack. I don't know if Raja got loose or he was just being aggressive. He didn't get loose.
I would assume not. He's probably just going for position.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that footage again, but I thought that's what I saw. I could be mistaken, but overall, with that conversation there at the end, I mean, Jesse Love, I mean, he's a champion for a reason. He's a champion for a reason, guys. I mean, he's very mature at 21 years old. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and instead of getting into a yelling match, those guys who are young and up and coming prospects of our sport, they handled it like men, and they didn't get into any shouting matches or anything like that. And that was good that Jesse Love said, "Hey, you guys go fight. You guys can go fight if you want. We're going to talk it out. We don't need you." So that's the way it needs to be handled in NASCAR. And, with those guys being young, they're definitely really mature, and they definitely handled it the right way. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to have any more problems moving forward.
It's a shame, though, that we'll never get to see, Kevin Harvick and his multiple incidents throughout his career. I'm thinking of one in Richmond right now where he rushed Ricky Rudd, maybe?
Ricky Rudd. Yep, 2003.
Yeah.
The first one that comes to mind for me is the one at Bristol with Chase Elliott.
Yeah, that's a good one. It was just like this generation is just not cut from the same cloth, really, and the ones that are just spoiled Brad's like, Ty Gibbs doesn't do it anymore, but he did it first, and Austin Hill and those people.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a shame that we won't get those anymore, but I guess we can respect that they're respectable people that handle things in a respectful manner. Boo-hoo. Yeah. But yeah. Regardless, is there anything else you guys want to bring up on that? Looking at the cut line, Taylor Gray is the cut line right now. Got a 20-point advantage on that of Anthony Alfredo, who is past William Swalich in the point standings. Rough day for Mr. Sandwich. That's really about it. This is an interesting season, I will say.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, overall, those Toyotas, they just need to figure it out. I mean, like we talked about, Brent Cruz, he looked really strong, and Taylor Gray, he wasn't really much of a factor as I thought he would be. But I just feel like Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, they got to find some more speed to try to catch up with those those Chevrolet teams.
It's confusing because JRM Chevys are dominating the O'Reilly series, and then JGR Toyotas are dominating the Cup series. It's just been the way of the world this year, but at least Toyota has a O'Reilly series program. I'm looking at you, Ford. Nick Sanchez 25th in the point standings.
Yeah,
I guess that's what happens when you hire your driver a week before the season.
Yep, absolutely.
Cars made of duct tape.
Yeah. Stockman, long-time RCR employment, no surprise. That's what Jenny said. Yeah.
RCR isn't the most classful. Okay, now I just sound like Steve O'Donnell or Steve Phelps, which everyone made that comment. Regardless,
they have no class.
They listen. Just look at the history is all I'm saying. Look at the history.
I'm with you 100%. Those
hold my watch.
Hold my watch is exactly what I was thinking of, and I love him for it. I think it's funny, but when stuff like that happens, it's just interesting seeing the night and day difference. Regardless, anything else on this series race before we talk about Fast Five real quick and then wrap up the show?
I think we pretty much covered it.
All right. Well, we won't. Is there an Xfinity race next week?
Yes, there is a truck race and an O'Reilly race, both at Rockingham.
Yeah, that's right. We take off Easter, so we'll talk about how we're handling that. There's going to be no live stream next week. I know that for sure. I don't know if we'll even do it. We might just take the week off with the drivers.
Yep.
And then come back for a preview of Bristol that week following. But let's take a look. I went ahead and took the liberty of filling out the Fast Five points. Maybe it's because I had an idea that I may have had the most points this weekend. So not by much, but I did get the most points. I had Denny Hamlin, or you had Denny Hamlin. Bull had Denny Hamlin, who got 20 points in second place. Ryan Preece, who got 10 points. And then Carson Osvar snuck out 5 points there. Gilland and Herbst didn't get you anything, though. Ryan, that's good enough for 35 points for you. And then for me, I got Blaney, who finished top 10 with 16 points. Gibbs got a fourth place finish, got me 18. Allmendinger got me nothing. Zane Smith got me nothing. Austin Dillon got me nothing. Zane Smith should have gotten me something, but thank you, Bubba. And then I picked Justin Allgaier to win, fading my Hall of Fame choice. My Hall of Fame choice remains the same. A Martinsville win doesn't change that for me. If he gets 10 more wins, maybe I'll think about it, but this season, I mean. But yeah, we'll leave that for another day. I got 10 bonus points, though, 44 points, which is good enough for the most of the weekend. Ben did get the win, of course. His only other points came from Shane Van Gisbergen, 11. Nothing from Stenhouse, Kyle Busch, or Bubba Wallace. So Ben gets bailed out by picking the winner, as per usual. And then that puts the overall points, Ben in the lead of 302. I find myself about, come on, Golden, do the math, 31 points back with 271. And then Bull. Remember a couple weeks ago when you said you had us right where you want us? Do you still feel that way, or
still a long way to go?
Still a long season ahead. There's no chase, no playoffs in this, right? So
yeah,
it's just straight to the end of this season. Long way to go. And really all it takes, Bull, is that man right there to lose his golden horseshoe for a weekend.
I had everything planned out perfect this week. I was about to get the winner. Priest was looking.
You had the winner. You had Priest around the top 10.
Yep.
You had Hocevar around the top 10. You had there's somebody else you had, right? Maybe not.
Gilliland was kind of flirting with top 20 at some points, but he was lapped down.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't a factor today.
Perhaps not. Sammy Smith end up finishing in third, so like there's a world where he probably got the win there. But hey, all it takes really is one weekend. Ben is just very consistent at getting enough points to make anytime we get enough points or something, it doesn't really make too much headway. But 1 week he'll fail.
We go to Talladega in 4 weeks, so
that's our hope. We gotta hope for that.
All his drivers involved in the big one.
I actually 100% agree with Jenny down here. Steve O'Donnell has no business saying that as an owner of this sport. However, was he wrong? Still, it's a stupid thing to say as an owner of a sport.
Yeah.
Moving on down, I think that'll do it. You guys have anything you guys want to say about this weekend before we wrap up the show?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and probably take off this week for Easter. If we do, we may do some special episode, random. We'll talk about it after the show probably. But, yeah, take the week off for Easter, and we'll be back and ready for Bristol. Food City 500 coming up in 2 weekends. So be sure to stay tuned for coverage on that. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SlideJobX. Follow me at LFC__99 321 Tuesdays, says Chenry. Follow Ben at Ben Miller PXP, Bull at Bull_A1818. And yeah, I think that's all the shout outs. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.